That's the problem. I know, if there's something to do, or a situation like this one before.
Well, it's recorded, so we can, the same thing happened, yeah. We found the comprehensive plan, want to put that up tonight.
Appeals board.
Appeals board.
Oh, you did?
Appeals board.
Yeah, it's.
No, comprehensive plan one.
Oh, the comprehensive plan.
Oh, you found the one for Muncie?
Yep.
Okay.
Did you find the appeals board one?
No,
No, that got deleted.
yeah, it's deleted.
And these are some letters being sent out to, some people that applied for jobs. Yeah, I'll do that later. If they need to give us a lot of things.
Thank you.
All right, agenda items. Maine DOT. How are you doing tonight?
Doing great, how are you folks?
Doing excellent, thank you.
Absolutely, thank you for having me down.
Yeah, thanks for coming. You can come right up to the table if you want, make it easier.
I did forget my printed version of this, so I've been trying to log on, but unfortunately bring my self-service here to authenticate our logons for external stuff, so I did get on, so I just gotta open it up here. So I had sent an updated copy or version of the local cost share agreement. So that's a very standard agreement for a project similar to this. So what we typically do, because the bridge was removed previously, there was a vote to bring it back, both from Maine and New Hampshire. So there was an agreement to move the project forward to replace the superstructure. The abutments are still in place and they're still sound, so there'll be an analysis done of those existing abutments to make sure that they can still take updated truck loadings and things. So there may be some work on that, but the plan would be to put a new superstructure on there and reopen the road. The agreement that was made several years ago, I don't know the exact time, I think it was in end of 2016, early 2017, is that there would be at the time that was agreed upon a 10% local match per side. So specifically 10%, which at that point in time was $130,000, that was brought to vote and it passed according to the documentation that I have. Now I've had this project for a little over a year, so I do apologize if I am missing any information. I'm happy to take whatever information you folks would like to pass along if I'm missing, so feel free to stop me at any point if you've already heard it or want to
I
add
got a
to
question for you.
it. Sure.
So that price, the price has gone up, you said?
It has, so.
And the new price is based on the structures that are in there, the columns holding what you put on top of it.
So the new price is based on just re-looking at the estimate in today's dollars. So New Hampshire DOT is leading this project, so Maine DOT is participating with a 50% match of the total project cost that they've estimated at this point to be $1.45 million to do the project. So that is where the $145,000 that is currently in that agreement came from.
But that's based on the
The full project.
but the columns that are there were being still structurally sound.
Yep.
And do you have any idea if they're not, what the cost would go to?
I imagine that they still are pretty close to sound, but it's concrete work or maybe some grouting work. It's not an extreme
With
cost
underwater?
difference. Some of it may be, they'd really have to examine it. I don't know exactly the condition that they're in. That would be part of the preliminary process. So this is still very early on in the project as well. New Hampshire does have, I think it's HDR Engineering on board to present a proposal to do the work. So they are gonna have a consultant do the design of this, so they'll have to do that analysis during what we refer to as the preliminary engineering for this. So you'll probably hear of some public meetings and things like that coming up for the project itself once it gets going. Maine DOT and New Hampshire DOT do not have a signed agreement yet. From the Maine DOT side, we wanted to make sure that we had everything straightened out with you folks before anything was signed between the states that would be binding. We wanted to make sure that you had the chance to have a say in things, and same thing from our side. Part of the reason that cost went up is we have been getting some pretty crazy bid prices the last few years. That's actually caused Maine DOT to cut some projects because of the expense associated with it. So just generally year to year, there's usually some cost upticks as.
This year's been like astronomical compared to previous years.
Last year was really bad. This year it seems to be not any worse than last year was, and it seems to be ticking in a better direction.
When did this new one come through?
So this new quote is from the mid last year, so it would be in a line with some of those higher prices. So because of that, at Maine DOT, we looked at it and decided that we didn't want to base this on a 10% match in case this project comes in at 1.7 when it gets bid.